Hello, and welcome to Homegrown KC, a podcast dedicated to exploring Kansas City's fascinating history and sharing stories from its rich past. I'm your host, Laura. Join me today as we explore a piece of Kansas City's history. I have a really cool minisode for y'all today. I took an adventure this morning with KC Urban Hikes through Strawberry Hill and downtown KCK. I feel like I haven't done enough research or enough adventures on history in KCK, especially in this particular area. So I was really excited to go on this. I heard about them about a year ago. About a year ago, I had an idea. Homegrown KC should do a walking tour. That would be really cool. Let me look up what we have so far, because I know we have the gangster tour, which actually is a bus tour. And that's how I found Urban Hikes. And so now after today, I'm like, yeah, they don't need Homegrown KC walking tour. This is so cool, guys. She started 3 years ago. She now has 8 different hikes that she offers. And 4 different guides. Like a month-ish ago, one of her guides, Christy, hi Christy, reached out to me and was like, do you wanna? And I was like, yeah. So I ended up picking this one. And I thought that Christy was gonna be my guide, but the owner and founder of KC Urban Hikes, Lisa, was my guide. And I don't know if that was the plan all along, and I just didn't realize it, or if there was some kind of organizational shift. But I'm sure Christy would have been amazing, but Lisa was amazing. Very nice, very kind, cheerful, friendly, energetic. Like, I can't say enough good things about her. And, there's so much cool stuff on this hike. So I'm going to try to... I'm looking up right now about the different hikes. I can give you the list of the hikes that they offer, and then I'm going to try to go in order of what we saw on the hike. Okay, so there's a Crossroads Art District and West Side Urban Hike. There's an urban hike with wine and cheese. That one starts at Liberty Memorial. There's the one I did, Strawberry Hill and downtown KCK. There is the River Market / West Bottoms / Columbus Park. Excuse me. They have a Plaza Lights and Crestwood urban hike. So that must be Christmas only. I don't know, maybe they do a plaza hike during the summer as well. There's a mural-based hike, and if you are not from Kansas City, then you don't know. But if you are from Kansas City, you do know we have a lot of beautiful street art. So this one sounds cool. Let's see. They go through, they start at Union Station, they go through the Crossroads, and they see over 25 murals. Wow, that's a lot. And that's not even all that we have. Let's see. Okay. Artful KC Streetcar Urban Hike. That one, it looks like, also goes through the Crossroads and downtown. She said that she also does a lot of corporate hikes or like team hikes, so your business can, get a private hike. And she said a lot of those, they will end with a pottery class at... what is the name of this place? Epic Clay Studio, which is in Strawberry Hill. And Epic Clay I've been following on Instagram for a couple weeks now. They seem really cool. And there's a Sunset Crossroads West Side Urban Hike. That one sounds gorgeous. There's something called a Get Fit Urban Hike. That is not available yet, but it will be later in the summer. And it says that it's a hike intermixed with cardio. It focuses on legs, glutes, and cardio. So that sounds like a lot of exercise. So the hike that I was on this morning, the Strawberry Hill hike, her website says it's about 4.5 miles. Let's see, my phone says that we clocked well over 10K steps, which I think is about 5 miles. That little yay that you just heard, that was my phone. Yeah, so it says it was about 5 miles. And she will tell you, but I'm also going to warn you, make sure you have good shoes. Make sure you take a big bottle of water on the Strawberry Hill hike. There is a spot about halfway through where you can stop and get some water from the water fountain and go to the bathroom, which was very nice. Okay, here we go. So we met this morning, and I should also say real quick, except for the sunset hike, it looks like all of the hikes are at about 8:30 in the morning. So that's the first thing. I guess I should start there. So when I booked it, I was like, oh, I don't want to wake up at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. Oh well, I want this enough. I'll do it. And my body was like, 6 a.m., let's go. And I was like, no. But whatever, I didn't have trouble waking up this morning. Okay, anyways, it's totally worth it. It's a bit cooler in the mornings than the afternoons. That's probably why she chose that time. Also, I think folks are freer in the mornings. But, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning in Strawberry Hill, nobody around. It was super quiet, super nice. The weather was gorgeous. We met at 8:30 at Split Log Coffee. Apparently, Split Log is one of only 2 coffee shops in all of Strawberry Hill / downtown KCK. And here was the first thing that I learned this morning that I didn't know. So, in all of my research on Wyandotte Nation history, somehow, some way that I do not understand in the least, I came across no mention of Split Log, or if I did, just did not stay in my brain. But I'm 99% sure I did not see that name. He was with the Wyandottes. He came down from Ohio with them. She said he was not Wyandotte. He was half some other tribe. I'm sorry, I have no idea what, and I didn't look it up before sitting down to record this. And half French, I think she said. But his wife was Wyandotte. So that was a connection there. He came down to Kansas City with them, and he bought up a whole bunch of land. He bought a steamboat and, was doing trading stuff on the river. And he started a lumber mill, I think she said. And he's kind of a big deal. And then in 1855, when the tribe's like, we're tired of this, or 1857, sorry. And the tribe's like, we're tired of this, we're going to Oklahoma. He's one of the ones that went to Oklahoma. But for the 10, 12-ish years that he was here, he was a big deal. So that was cool. Okay, so then she's like, there's a lot of hills in this area, if you don't know. And if you're from Colorado, like my cousin, she's always like, Kansas is flat. And I'm like, it's really not. Unless you're in western Kansas. But eastern Kansas is really hilly. So she's like, we're going to start with this first hill, and it's our steepest one. And I look up, and I'm like, yeah, it'll be okay. But halfway up, I'm like, is this steep? But it's okay. As long as the hike is, it's like 3 hours, like I said, like 5 miles. There's hills, there's a couple of places where you go up steps. Honestly, it's not strenuous. Just make sure that you have good shoes. Wear sunscreen if you, and a hat if your skin is really sensitive, and take some water with you, and you can do it, and it's really great. Anyways, hold on. I am so sorry, listeners. I just realized how incredibly ableist that was. And I have friends and family with mobility issues, so you think that I would know better. If you have difficulty getting around due to age or disability, I don't think that you'll be able to do this hike because it is 5 miles and because there are enough hills. If you have difficulty breathing, like asthma or something, I don't know. Maybe it'll depend on the severity of your case. And there are some places where the sidewalk is overgrown by weeds and brush alongside of it, so if you're blind, that might be difficult. I don't know, but if you get a buddy to go with you, maybe it's okay. That kind of sucks, and I apologize for being not realizing as I was speaking that was ableist. So the hill that we walked up is locally known as Russian Hill because that was the area where Russian immigrants lived. And then a lot of the rest of Strawberry Hill that we walked through seemed to have a connection to Croatian immigrants rather than Russian. So she pointed out, and we actually stopped at to admire several historic churches. The first being what was a Russian Orthodox church at one time and is now an aerial, like the Silks training studio / workout space. I'm not sure how to describe that. But I guess the woman lives in the church, which would be really cool, and offers classes. There was a Croatian church that we stopped at that is still in service today, and actually their annual Croatian Heritage Festival is this afternoon at 4 p.m. Sounded really cool, and I was like, I should go, but now it's almost 4 p.m., and I'm like, you know what, I'm probably not going to make it. Anyways, I'm trying to remember what came after that. Several cool points, especially in the first half, where we could look out across the river and see the KC skyline, which is gorgeous. I love our skyline. So I got some great photos of that. And like I said, we walked past Epic Arts, and apparently downtown KCK has third Fridays that they do, so it's like their version of First Fridays, and they shut down the street and they have a whole bunch of art vendors, and it starts right there at Epic Arts. One of the things that Lisa did, and I was noticing this on the hike, but then I was talking to some other folks afterwards, and we'll get to that later. But just saying, it wasn't just me, they noticed as well. She really emphasized not just, hey, here's this historical tidbit about the neighborhood, but she really emphasized the modern community and highlighted a bunch of local-owned, local-run bars and restaurants, and it was obvious that she's taken the time to visit each one of them, spend time there, get to know the owners, and that was really cool. I really liked that. So we saw 4 of the Parade of Hearts, those hearts along the route. That was awesome. I wasn't expecting that. Those will probably be the last of the hearts that I get to see. And I think that brought my total up to 35, so I did not see all 156 like I originally planned. There's a time capsule that we got to see the plaque for. It's going to open up again in 2076 because it was buried in 1976. We walked through the Lewis and Clark Viaduct, which she said that she calls it the Freedom Bridge, and I don't know if other people also know it by that name, but it connects KCK and KCMO, and it's part of the Heritage Bike Trail, which is really cool. And I think I read recently that they're actually working to expand that. Let's see, where do we go after that? After that is when we saw another heart. Oh, so from the bridge, you can see Kaw Point, which is where the Kaw River and the Missouri River connect. And honestly, first time I've really been able to see that, especially from that angle. It was really pretty. and she pointed out how to walk down to Call Point, which I hope to do later this summer. Let's see, what was after that? The Mercado, and then another church. So the last, or maybe it was second to last site on the tour was the Wyandotte National Burial Ground, which I've been wanting to see for a few months now since I did the Wyandotte Nation. And originally I thought I'll do an adventure dedicated to just the burial site, and I will do a mini-sode on just this. And since we visited on this tour, I'm going to include it here. So first off, the giant sign at the entrance still says Huron Indian Cemetery, and there's a little plaque, like a foot by a foot, that was added that says, in 2016, it joined the National Register, or actually, sorry, that was from the 70s. What happened? What was it in the National Landmark 2016, and the name was changed. I would like to see them change the sign to actually say Wyandotte National Burial Ground rather than Huron Indian Cemetery. So, it's up on a hill in downtown KCK. You've got a bank across the street. You've got the casino, like, directly next to it. And you get up there, and it's got a lot of trees, and it's really green, and it's actually kind of quiet up there, and rather peaceful. But I was shocked, and kind of upset, I think maybe is the word I'm looking for. I'm sure there are more nuanced words, I just can't think of them at the moment. But the photos that I've seen online of the cemetery are, I guess they're all just from the one end with the headstones of the Connolly sisters. But like 95% or more of the cemetery is just green grass. And it's not overgrown, although it is a little long. It could probably use a cut. And there's a little bit of like bushes and stuff on there that if I were in charge, I would trim. They might not want to. But it was kind of hurtful to see, and I knew from my research and from talking to Chief Libby that there are a few hundred people buried there, and their graves are they're unmarked. But I don't know. I took that as like, we have more burials than we are aware of, sure, but the burials that are there are still marked. Not really. There's a little bitty plaque in the ground that says, 200 unmarked graves. There are a few more that say unknown. And there's a lot of stone. I can't even say a lot. There are a few stones that you see and you're like, okay, I can tell that at one point that was a marker, and now, over time it has been really worn down. But I don't know. I was just really expecting there to be a lot more markers. So that, like, maybe we have a few hundred that we don't know your name, but you're marked, you're acknowledged. That is not the case, and that was really disappointing. I don't know. It's just, I think it's really sad. It's like, I don't know, almost, I don't know. I don't know how to describe this sensation. But she did talk a lot about the Wyandottes on her trip, from Split Log in the beginning to talking about Quindaro and the Underground Railroad when we were at the Viaduct Bridge to the cemetery. So that was really cool. Like I said, she emphasized local-owned businesses. What other bits of history did she talk about? the stockyards and how Strawberry Hill... Oh, how Strawberry Hill got its name was interesting. Okay, so she actually talked about this at the very beginning when we started the tour. So there's 2 stories, apparently. And someday when we do a more detailed history on this area, I'll see if I can find anything else. But one story was that when they first people moved into the area, there was wild strawberries growing everywhere, and so they decided to name it Strawberry Hill. Before that, it was known as Split Lock Hill because he owned that area. And then the other story was that wild strawberries grow on the graves of the Wyandottes. That may be, but in actuality, I am inclined to believe the first story because I live a few miles away, and my yard is almost nothing but wild strawberry. It's a little bit annoying. Maybe not almost but like a good half. Alright, let's see. What else do I remember from this tour? Met a lot of cool people. Shout out to everybody who was with me on the tour this morning. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. I really thought I'd have more to say, but maybe I just talked really fast because I'm not thinking of anything else really big that I need to tell y'all about from my adventure this morning. So I guess we will cut it off there. Thank you for joining me today on this minisode. Please check out Urban Hikes. You will not regret it. And if you want to support the show, you can do so by subscribing to patreon.com/homegrownkc or redcircle.com/homegrownkc. Or you can give a one-time donation at redcircle.com or ko-fi.com/homegrownkc. That's ko-fi.com. You can give as little or as much as you want, even as little as $1 a month. If you become a subscriber, then you get a item from the merchandise store valued at $5 or less, a shout out on every episode and social media post. So thank you, Bjorn, Joan, and Gina, for your support. And you get access to exclusive bonus episodes featuring other local historians, archivists, and museum experts. Everyone who simply gives a one-time donation, you will only receive a shout-out on the next available episode. You will not receive access to these exclusive Patreon episodes or anything from the merchandise store. But if you donate on Ko-fi, 1% of every donation automatically goes to help fight climate change. If you cannot become a financial supporter of the show, which I get it, inflation is super high, then you can still support me by listening to the show and sharing it with your friends and family. Go on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, give me a 5-star review and rating. And follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube. Images from today's hike will be on all my social media pages, so make sure you check those out. You can go to my website for more information. That's homegrownkc.wordpress.com. You can also sign up for my newsletter there. Not going to spam you. It'll be once a month, about the first of the month. You get an email that says, here's what's new with the show, here's what's going on. It's just a good way to stay up to date. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or email episode suggestions, you can email me at homegrownkcpodcast@gmail.com or DM me on any of the social media networks. If you want to check out the merchandise store, go to zazzle.com/store/homegrownkc_. Totally did that wrong. Let's try that again. Sorry. zazzle.com/store/homegrown_kc_store. There we go. And you can find links to everything on the website, which again is homegrownkc.wordpress.com. Thank you goes out to my talented sister-in-law, Sarah McCombs, for the creation of my logo, to the Dear Misses for the use of their song Kansas City as the intro and outro music of the show, to local libraries which enabled me to gather all my research, and to you listeners. And a very special thank you to Lisa from Urban Hikes and Christy. Alright, cheers!
you this tonight, 'cause I can't seem to shake this feeling, and I can't seem to get you off my mind. Thought I lost my nerve forever, and I know that it's now or never to try and see this through. Tie loose ends up with a bow and start anew. We could talk through the nights on the phone, but we toss and we turn all alone, and we both know that that's not the way we roll. Can you hear me calling out your name? 'Cause I swear I thought I'd heard the same. So don't overthink or undermine. Meet me in Kansas City tonight. And I woke from a dream that you said goodbye, and you left without a reason. Not a word to state your grievance, not a motive for your leaving. And it all seems crazy and unkind, and I miss my window to make you mine. I was broken and confused, and I woke up to me calling out for you. No more back to the back and the forth. No more dragging our feet on the floor. No more spinning the wheels, no, not anymore. Can you hear me calling out your name? 'Cause I swear I thought I'd heard the same. So don't overthink or undermine. Meet me in Kansas City. Can you hear me calling out your name? From right here to Lawrence, Kansas, babe. So don't overthink. Enjoy the ride. Meet me in Kansas City. I am outside on the street, so come back to where we showed me how to light up this town. You restored my hopes with ease, and the city